Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Chats with Chaudhry. I hope you're safe and well. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Matt Stober, who is CEO of Abzena, which is a leading end-to-end integrated CDMO for complex biologics and bioconjugates, and Paul Jaminet, who is the founder and president of Angiex, a developer of nuclear-delivered antibody drug conjugates, or ADC therapies for solid cancers. And the reason we're here is we can learn more about why Angiex are partnered with Abzena to support the development and supply of clinical trial material for Angiex 101, which is a first-in-class, and I've read out these initials, so bear with me, TM4SF1-directed antibody drug conjugate. So, gentlemen, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join me this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you, Rizal.
Thank you.
All right. Now, before we start talking about the partnership and why you guys are working together, for viewers who are not familiar with the companies, perhaps, Paul, if you don't mind starting, you could give viewers a quick overview of Angiex, programs you do, and what your mission is.
All right. Well, Angiex is building on 20 years of work by our scientific founders who are leaders in the field of angiogenesis and tumor vascular biology. And so their career goal was to find a universal therapy for all solid cancers, for all growing tumors by attacking the tumor vasculature. And they succeeded in finding what we're confident is the best biology in the human genome for that approach. And so we built Angiex to make a drug that would implement that approach and see how well it does. So if we succeed, then we'll have a universal therapy for every tumor forming cancer and the potential to transform medicine. And now it turns out the target that we found, TM4SF1, it's also highly expressed in tumor cells and enables invasion and metastasis. And it also gives us the potential to address not only cancers, but also the leading causes of blindness and many cardiovascular and inflammatory diseases. So it's an exciting potential. So we built our technology with an idea of building a platform that can address all of those diseases. And AGX 101 is our lead drug designed to attack solid cancers. And we recently dosed our first patient. So we're...
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Now, Matt, same question for you. For people not familiar with Abzena, can you give us a quick overview of the business and also your mission and how it aligns with Angiex?
Sure. So Abzena, we're a clinical research and clinical manufacturing organization. So we basically start with companies just like Paul's and begin with everything from the sequence and then take them all the way through the IND enabling activities into clinical and then ultimately into the commercial setting once they're successful in the clinics. And we do everything from end to end. So we'll do all the research. We're essentially try to behave and act as an extension of Paul's organization on the research side, doing all of the development activities, analytical development, process development, manufacturing. We assist with the regulatory side of things to help get that IND approved and get that material ready to be able to go into a clinical setting. And then we support them all the way through that process as they advance from phase 1 clinical all the way through. Again, we really pride ourselves on moving medicines forward. That's our mission statement, and helping the small to mid-sized biotech companies really act as an extension of their teams to help them to be successful and accomplish the goals that they have.
Right. Now, that's great. Now, Paul, let me come to you then, because obviously you are working with Abzena, but there are a lot of companies out there. So what drove you to select them as your development partner? What were you looking for in a partner, and how have they met those needs?
Yeah. So like other companies, we conducted a formal process with a request for proposals, and we looked at everyone in the industry. We had a few requirements. So we were more interested in integrated producers who could produce both antibody, linker payload, and conjugate them. Then we were in splitting up the work with one firm doing the antibody, a different firm doing the linker payload, a third firm doing conjugation. And so I think if we were farther along, then you might, or were a more sophisticated, larger company, then you might be more inclined to work with specialists and manage everything yourself. But we felt it would be helpful to us to have a company that was integrated and would be able to handle the whole work, and you wouldn't have issues with finger pointing. Something goes wrong in conjugation. Is a problem with the antibody? Is a problem with the linker payload? Is a problem with the person doing the conjugation? So Abzena is an integrated producer who would handle all three, was willing to be that kind of partner who would take responsibility for all aspects of producing the drug, and they would have internal expertise. So at the time we were contracting, we were a 5-employee company, and Abzena, I'm not sure how many they had, but closer to 500 than 5. And so there's a little more depth of expertise. And the idea of having an integrated producer was important. So we did have some other manufacturers maybe rated more highly as specialists in one area, but Abzena, among the integrated early stage producers, we had very highly. We probably had them on a technical level. We probably had them number 2 to WuXi, but we had concerns about China, geopolitical risk, and some other matters. So overall, we rated Abzena highest among all the firms we consider. And they've been a very good partner for us.
Well, we'll come on to that a little bit later, actually. But Matt, from your perspective, what support have you been providing to Angiex? And how's the relation been working with you? Obviously, they're a much smaller organization. So have you been able to help them?
Yeah, we have 70 of our 450 employees, as Paul said, we're just about 500. And of our 450 employees, 70 of those are PhDs. The advantage that we have at Abzena is we get to see multiple programs and multiple products, and obviously gain a tremendous amount of experience from working with companies just like Paul's. And through that experience, we can leverage that with our employees to really bring that to bear for a smaller organization. We love to start with the folks that are 5 people and just getting going. And our motto is really start with us and stay with us all the way through. Paul said they had WuXi rated higher. I rate us higher than WuXi. And we don't have the geopolitical component either. But as he said, we have the end-to-end offering. And that's one of the things that really makes us different. We have the clinical research services over in the Cambridge, UK organization, an incredibly deep technical team there that can really start with the sequence and do all the cell line development work, all the immunogenicity work that's required. And we really pride ourselves on de-risking the program for companies before they get into the clinic and have to spend the big money from a clinical setting. We do a lot of upfront work to make sure that we're gonna develop the best possible product based on the intellectual property they have. And then we've got our facilities in San Diego where we do the monoclonal manufacturing, product development, as well as analytical development. So you don't have to outsource the analytics to other partners. We can do it all under one roof. And as Paul mentioned, that's incredibly important for being able to troubleshoot when things come up during product development. And then we've got our Bristol facility where we handle high potent material. We do all the conjugation. That's really the intersection of where complex biology comes together with very complex chemistry and that linker payload development work and conjugation activities. And again, we do all the analytical development as well under that roof in our Bristol, PA facility right outside of Philadelphia. And so again, we can be quite efficient as we're working through the development activities as well as troubleshooting any potential challenges that come up during the course of normal development.
Right. And Paul, from your perspective, how do you think the relation has gone so far? It's always difficult when Matt's sitting there, you're going to talk about the relationship, but how has the relationship gone so far?
Yeah. So I would say we've been extremely happy with them from a business perspective. So I do think they bring we very much wanted to have a firm that would be a strategic partner for us. So once you're working with someone, you want to have more like a marriage than a dating relationship, and you continuing to work together and understand each other's detailed business issues and be willing to adapt. And I would say on the business side, we've been very happy with Abzena. On the technical side, I'd say there were a few struggles during Operation Warp Speed and the COVID era. So I think a lot of manufacturers had some challenges there. But overall, we're very happy with the Abzena.
Fantastic. Well, good. That's good to hear. Now, looking ahead though, where do you see the future hold? Well, what do you see the future hold for the AGX 101, and how do you see the partnership working going forward?
Yeah, for AGX 101, we've just started dosing patients, so a lot hinges on what happens in patients over the next year or so. But it does have the potential to be a universal therapy for all solid cancers. So if it works, it will be especially helpful in high unmet need cancers. So cancers like pancreatic cancer, for example. And so it has the potential to be an extremely exciting drug and potentially capture a very large market. We would need to be able to produce commercially at scale when we get to approval. I would say Abzena is probably strongest at the early stage, so development and early clinical. But as I mentioned, we have a platform and quite a few pipeline drugs that we have dreams of producing. And so I think many of those can be in Abzena's wheelhouse. And so there's great potential for us to be working closely together for a long time.
And Matt, from your perspective, what do you see the future hold?
Yeah, the same. This is exactly the kind of program and company and team that we love to work with. It's what motivates our employees. As employee motivation is one of the most critical things to advancing programs like this, and working on really exciting cutting edge science is what gets our team really fired up. As Paul mentioned, we are incredibly strong on the development side in the front end. And our strategy is now to grow with our customers as they grow into the commercial setting. We're making additional investments in both our biologics and bioconjugation facility to be able to go commercial. We've got several partners that are a little further along than Paul is from a clinical standpoint that will allow us to get into the commercial manufacturing setting. And we've got a great balance sheet that allows us to continue to invest from a capital standpoint so that we can grow with our customers. Our investors are outstanding and really want to continue to put money into this super exciting space. I see us continuing to grow together. It all starts with execution, starts and ends with execution. As Paul mentioned, we've got to execute well for our partners. And if we do that, I expect us to have a very long relationship. And fingers crossed, as he said, we won't know until we start to see the clinical results come through. But if they're what we and he both hope they will be, we'll have a very long relationship here in terms of continuing to manufacture this product and really making a difference for cancer patients.
Let's hope so. Now, I've got one final question for both of you. ADCs have been in the news a lot over the last 18 months. You know, every time I look at a different science website, there's another ADC getting approved or it's in development. And it's one of those areas that actually there has been investment in the sector. And you talk about doom and gloom, obviously, within the space over the last 6 months or so, but ADCs are one of the growth areas. So as you're both here and from a manufacturer and a CRO CDMO point of view, what do you see as the future of the whole for ADCs? Paul, maybe you'd like to start. What do you see the future for ADCs going forward?
Yeah, I think ADCs are the future of cancer therapies. I think chemotherapies will be replaced by ADCs. So they're more complex drugs. They're a little harder to produce, but they've got more pieces that you can optimize by optimizing the targeting independently from the payload, which gives efficacy. I think chemotherapies having to have drug-like properties that diffuse through the body as well as potency, it's just putting too much responsibility on one single small molecule. I think ADCs will, by and large, replace chemotherapy. And I think they're just a much better drug modality than some of the alternatives like lipid nanoparticles or many of these other cell therapies or difficulties. I think ADCs will end up, along with will be the dominant therapies in oncology 10 years from now.
Right. And Matt, obviously, from your perspective, as you obviously work with a lot of companies who are developing ADCs, so what do you see the future of for ADCs?
Yeah, I'm completely aligned with Paul. I think one of the things that's super exciting about ADCs, we've all had people in our lives that have been impacted by cancer. And the hardest thing is watching folks go through the treatment. You treat folks with these chemotherapy products. And as Paul mentioned, it goes everywhere in the body. And many times the side effect profile is not pleasant. And the difference with ADCs is you're taking a monoclonal antibody that targets the specific cancer cell. So it goes just where it needs to go and then delivers a payload and releases that payload to just kill the cancer cell. And so the side effect profile, not only is the side effect profile significantly less, but you can deliver a much higher payload. So in other words, you can deliver a much higher intensity dose because you're only hitting the cell that is bad, cancer cell. And so that makes this technology just incredibly innovative in terms of the impact on patients' quality of life during treatment, but also the ability to really deliver a much stronger payload to these cancer cells that need to be taken out. And so the technology's got amazing promise. We're certainly seeing major investment in the space. And I think that's going to continue. And I think we'll see that continue into other disease areas as well, by the way, beyond cancer. I think cancer is the beginning, but I think this antibody drug conjugate and oligonucleotide therapies that are coming through are really going to change the landscape for treatment for patients over the next decade.
That's great. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. Matt, Paul, it's been lovely to meet you both. Now, viewers, if you'd like to learn more about the collaboration, the link to the press release is above this video. And if you'd like to learn more about Angiex and Abzena, the link to both companies and their websites are above this video. But if you've got any questions based on what Paul and Matt spoke about today, feel free to put them in the comments below this video. I'm sure they'll be only too happy to see your feedback. Gentlemen, Paul, Matt, it's lovely to meet you both. Enjoy the rest of your day and good luck with the collaboration and good luck with the trials there, Paul. And the viewers, thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.